Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Taylor. I am a Bachelor of Science student studying psychology at the University of Melbourne, and today I wanted to answer all of your questions about uni. I constantly get comments, emails, DMs asking questions about uni in general, going to uni in Melbourne, what living in Melbourne is like. So I thought that I'd just collate all of those questions into one video and answer them all in the one place. So starting off, what are your plans with your degree? So I thought I would just start with this one just so you know a bit more about me. So I'm doing a Bachelor of Science. At UNImelb, they have general degrees. So I think there's only 6 degrees that you can do. So the Bachelor of Science is like the broad degree, and then within that you major in an area. So I'm majoring in psychology, as I said before. I want to go on to do honours and eventually masters, but I don't really know when I'm going to do that, how I'm going to do that, where I'm going to do that. Everything is constantly changing. I'm constantly finding new fields that I want to work in. I wanted to do clinical psychology, I wanted to do educational psychology. Now I'm looking at applied positive psychology. So I actually don't know where I'm going to end up. I just know that I do want to do my honours in psychology. Then we'll just go from there. But I still have 1.5 years left of my bachelor's degree preparations before starting first year, how I could possibly prepare. So firstly, I have done a video advice for first year uni students if you want to go and check that out. I'm sure there are some tips in there that you might find useful. The one thing I would suggest to do is before your degree, or at least at the start of your degree, read the requirements of your course and go over it with a course advisor or someone who knows what they're doing, and just have a rough idea of what you're going to do over your degree. Even if you don't know what you're majoring in, at least know how many subjects you have to take, what type of subjects you have to take. So I screwed this up and I only realized this year that I've screwed up, so that's why I need to take an extra semester at the end. But I misunderstood my course requirements, took too many of this subject, not enough of this subject. So that would be one thing, is just to understand the course requirement, and that is a very confusing thing, at least at UniMelb, to understand and interpret. So don't stress out about it. There's course advisors and course planners and they can help you. Okay, a lot of questions about, is it stressful? Am I really busy? What's it like compared to high school? It is definitely very different to high school, but the main difference is just the lack of routine. So at high school, obviously you go to school from 8 till 3 every day, and then after school you'll study for maybe 3 hours. At uni, for me this semester, I go to uni, even though it's online, for 2 classes a week, one on a Tuesday morning, which is 1 hour, and one on a Friday morning, which is an hour and a half. And that's the only thing that's scheduled in throughout my week that I have to go to. And then the rest of it is just completely up to me. So definitely there's a lack of routine, but I found creating my own routine very, very helpful. Another difference is that you do most of the work independently. No one will check if you've done the lectures, if you've done the content. The only thing obviously they'll check is that you've done the assignment if you need to hand it in. But other than that, you can go a whole semester without doing the lectures and no one will tell you to do them. Of course, though, they give you the support you need to do the work independently. They don't just leave you hanging on your own. There's always support there, so don't freak out at that. But yeah, there's just no one like constantly being like, hand in your homework the next day to make sure that you've done the work. I also think that it's as stressful as you make it. There are definitely stressful, busy periods if you have like a couple of assignments due in the same week, but you can definitely avoid that if you plan out and get your assignments done early. It definitely doesn't have to be stressful if you're on top of it. I would say though, it is much more chill than high school because it's flexible. You can do what works for you. You can wake up and decide not to do any uni today, which I do a lot of days, and no one's going to stop you. How many lessons a day? What time could the earliest class be? So this is very, very different for everyone. So as I said before, I'm only doing 3 subjects this semester. I've underloaded. The normal amount is 4 subjects a semester, but from my 3 subjects, I only have 2 classes a week. But then my boyfriend, for example, he does 4 subjects. A lot of them have 2 classes a week, and so he has a lot more classes than me. A lot of his classes are 3 hours long, but you schedule your own timetable. So for him, for example, he scheduled a lot of his classes on the same day. So today he's at uni from like 10 till 5, and then yeah, you get to choose what time you go to your classes. So I think the earliest is like 8 or 9 at UniMelb, but if you don't want to get up for that class, you just don't preference it, and you would not see me ever waking up for an 8 a.m. class or a 9 a.m. class, so I just don't preference it in my schedule. The other thing that might kind of trip you up is that they'll have lecture classes scheduled into your timetable, and that might be at 9 a.m. or it might clash with another class that you have, or it might clash with your job or something like that. But don't freak out, because they record all of the lectures and then upload them. Electives you have taken and how you have found them. So obviously at UNImelb, I've taken all of the psychology classes for first and second year. They've been really good, really diverse. You do a lot of different topics. So you do clinical psychology, biological psychology, cognitive psychology. So you basically get a taster of every different type of psychology, which helps to figure out what you want to do and what you want to major in, what subjects you want to choose next year. And then my breadth subjects. So at UNImelb we have breadths, which are subjects from different degrees. So if you're doing a science degree, you have one class a semester where you do a subject from a different degree that's not science. So basically all of my subjects have been from the Department of Education, which is not a bachelor degree, but it's a separate department. I'm not going to list them because there's quite a few of them. And then I've done music and well-being as another breadth. But yeah, it was pretty good. I haven't done a subject yet that I've hated. I did a couple of first year science subjects, but I just don't like science. I'll talk about this later on when I answer another question, but I don't do bio or chem or physics. So I had to choose like subjects last year, like geography, that I hated.
I haven't done a subject yet that I've hated.
Statistics. OMG, I've heard so much about how hard it is. Okay, so for psychology at least, you do statistics in the subjects. They're not too hard because they teach you like you don't know anything, which I didn't know anything about statistics. So it's just like any other content. They teach you how to do it. If you don't get it, obviously you can ask for help. All of the statistics they teach you, you need to know for your assignment. So it's helping you do your assignment and doing the results kind of section of the assignment. That's statistics in psych. It's not too bad. I don't know about other subjects. I don't know specifically what you've heard about statistics, but at least in psychology, it is not the worst thing in the world. What made you choose psychology and what made you choose UNImelb? Also, some questions about why I did a Bachelor of Science and not Arts, because you can do psych under either, like you can major in psych under either arts or science. I talked about this before in another Q&A, but I just didn't even consider any other unis in Melbourne. Don't really know why, it just was never suggested that I would go to a different uni. I don't know how to explain it, but because I'm from New South Wales, I looked at a few New South Wales unis, and then the only uni I considered in Victoria was Melbourne Uni, which I look back now and I wonder if things were different, if I'd known about the other unis here in Melbourne. So yeah, I don't really have a reason why I selected UNImelb over the other unis. For all I know, all of the other unis in Victoria are great, and the only thing I probably would have done differently is considered doing a Bachelor of Psychology at a different uni. When I chose a Bachelor of Science over a Bachelor of Arts, why did I do that? I don't know. I really just didn't consider my options properly. I should probably be doing a Bachelor of Arts because, like I said before, I don't do chem or bio or physics or anything sciencey. So now my options of what subjects I can do are really, really limited because I haven't done those as prerequisites. Anyway, it's really complicated, but I wanted to change to a Bachelor of Arts. I've decided I've come this far in my degree and I'm not going to kind of take a step backwards. I'm just going to power through it. Yeah, again, there was no reasoning behind choosing a Bachelor of Science over a Bachelor of Arts. I think definitely look at the other subjects in those degrees if you're trying to choose between them. How to make friends at uni. Okay, so I've definitely touched on this in my other video that I've made about advice for first year uni students, so go and check that out. But to keep it brief, I would join clubs and societies that you're interested in. Connecting with people in your class is really hard, especially online, but if you get chatting with someone in your class, at the end of it be like, hey, can I have your Facebook and we can keep in touch about the subject. Obviously the thing that you have in common is that you do the same class, so you can reach out and then you can say things like, oh, like how's your uni going, like how are you going this semester, do you have a job as a full-time student, and is it hard balancing a job uni. At the start of the year I was doing 4 subjects, which is considered full-time uni. I was doing YouTube, which at the time was a hobby. I wasn't making any money off it, but it was basically like a job. I have a role at college as the secretary of the student club, so that was like another job as well. And then I also had a job as a nanny, which I was being paid for, thank God. But basically I had like full-time uni and then I had 3 jobs going on the side. It was not sustainable, and I ended up dropping a subject down to 3, which I will highly recommend. And then I ended up quitting my job as a nanny for separate reasons, as well as the fact that I couldn't keep it all up. But that was the first thing to go because I didn't want to give up my YouTube, and I also didn't want to give up my job at college, and I wasn't enjoying my job as a nanny. And so for most of this year I've been doing YouTube, my job at college, and then I've been doing 3 subjects. So I'm not saying that it is easy. If you have multiple things going on in your life, you can definitely make them work. A lot of people have jobs at uni because we have to, there's no other way about it. So I think the thing to kind of remember or keep in mind is that every week is going to be a little bit out of balance. You're never going to get that perfect balance of uni and job and uni, job and life. So I think knowing your priority each week, if your priority is uni that week, maybe taking a couple less shifts at work, letting your manager know, I just need this week to get on top of my uni, submit this assignment, and then I'll be back next week. But yeah, it is definitely doable, and you have got this. And just remember that you are not alone. Everyone is in the same boat, and everyone manages, everyone makes their way through it. What were you nervous about but turned out to be exciting when you went to uni? I was nervous about the assignments and writing essays. I wouldn't say I'm excited about them now, but I've realized that they're not that bad. And a lot of the time, especially for my breadth subjects, the essays and assignments that I've done have been really interesting. And I think when you look at assignments as you are gaining extensive knowledge on a topic, you do so much research about it, you write 1,500 words about a topic, you've covered a lot, you know a lot. And so I think when I look at assignments that way, it makes them much better, much easier to write. But yeah, I was very nervous about them at the start. The other thing I will say is that basically all of the subjects will never just throw you in the deep end and say, write this assignment. They give you everything that they can to help you write the assignment. That was kind of a nerdy answer. Okay, some questions about Melbourne. Am I happy with my decision to move to Melbourne? I only sigh because I've come at the worst time in Melbourne history to move to Melbourne. My experience in Melbourne has not been great. Only for that reason, I haven't really gotten to explore it. Then again, I have had times where I've been able to go out, and I've travelled down to Mornington Peninsula and Phillip Island. So I guess it's not been that bad, but probably the worst time to come here. But hopefully next year I'll get a bit of a better idea of what it's actually like in a normal year and if I want to stay here. Someone also asked, do you wish you had gone to a university closer to home? So I guess answering that question, and if I'm happy moving away from home, yes, I'm really glad that I moved away from Sydney. It's just an independence thing, and for me it was a change thing. I really needed a fresh start away from everyone. So I'm definitely glad that I moved away from home. I was really lucky that I could move away from home, and in a normal year Sydney and Melbourne aren't that far away except for now because I literally just can't get home. So I think Melbourne was a good choice in that sense, that it's an hour-and-a-half plane ride away from home. What's it like to live in Melbourne, and do you find there is a lot to do? So as I just said, kind of hard to answer, but of course there is so much to do here. It is a major city. It is known for its cafes and restaurants and pubs, so you will not get bored in Melbourne. And it is a really good place to live, especially in the city. Actually, even out of the city, everything is really accessible. There are trams and trains everywhere. If you're worried about coming to Melbourne and having nothing to do and being bored, you have nothing to stress about. You will find there is so much to do. Okay, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. I hope I got around to it and answered it. And as always, if I didn't answer your question, send me a message or leave a comment, and I will happily reply to you and give you as much information as I know.